everyone. Looks like you guys can hear me. Just let me know. Do a quick little sound check. Let me know if it's good. No, I haven't got that far, Will, yet. Have not been able to add it yet. Hold on, let me do that real quick. Just as I was getting ready, I was like, okay, here we go, here we go. The girl melted down again. I was like, oh God. And she's up now, but I was like, here's your milk, here's this. I was like, let that thing go do some work. I don't need to draw winners. Copy. There, it should go live now. There we go. All right. All right, so my voice is obviously a little banged up, but we'll see. It should be okay for today. I just won't talk the rest of the day. All right, so last 24 hours, there's been decent movement inside of the pound. It's still continuing to climb. We're looking for kind of an area to stop. We should see it pretty soon, and I'll dive in on that chart. No news today whatsoever. Really not much there for that one. But you're seeing, again, the dollar weakness. I mentioned it in the next presentation. More or less, I think it's kind of a China versus U.S. thing. Kind of interesting. I would say the money is flowing out and into other things now that China has kind of backed Bitcoin. Again, you can see the difference, though, between the euro dollar, pound dollar. I mean, it's over double at this point. You're seeing that pound is gaining strength as well. Pound yen is finally starting to move. It was slower earlier. And then, again, euro pound down 31 is showing you kind of the imbalances right there. So it's dollar weakness, pound strength are the main leaders. A little bit of European weakness, although I wouldn't say it's anything too earth-shattering. I would say it's more or less probably just neutral. And again, it's more of a pound story this morning. A lot of that pound story is obviously, I mean, here, I'll click it, just refresh. Where is it? Most of that is coming from the central bank. We talked about this earlier as well. This is a big deal. And I would say, at this point, I mean, really the UK is leading pretty much everything at this point. I mean, COVID recovery, they're doing great. They seem to have the ideal plan. Hospitalizations, everything are down. They're really, they're really coming off of Brexit with a great kind of play. People were very, very uncertain about that one. And it's something we've mentioned. Anytime we see good, positive, or anything type of news headlines that are, not negative out of the UK, we should see continued strength. And that's really what we're seeing this morning, is just this going up. Now, there will be profit taking. I would expect there to be somewhat of a pullback. I don't know if it will be an absolute collapse, but it's definitely a decent runner for the day, particularly on a day with really no big news. As far as, tomorrow, there's not really any morning news either. We have CPI tomorrow night, quarter over quarter, which is, that's a decent reading. It's for, New Zealand, which kind of helps a little bit. But it'd be important because, again, seeing it here, you typically would carry over and then followed up by the retail sales. But we'll talk about that tomorrow. So today, it's just going to be more or less headlines. If we go with the traditional kind of what we've seen lately, right? We've seen one strong movement on Monday and then kind of a retracement for the rest of the week. If you didn't watch the other thing, this is kind of what we've been dealing with over the weekend with the whole Bitcoin situation is, basically, not that one, it's this one. All weekend it was talking about the Bitcoin Bitcoin crashing. Following the Turkey news, and then again, there's the rumor that the U.S. Treasury is planning to crack down on money laundering schemes, involving cryptocurrencies. Not necessarily directing that at Bitcoin, but again, cryptocurrencies in general, it's considered the big one, and it would obviously any type of crackdown would be for everybody out there. So again, there was some big losses. You can see it right here. Plunged 14% in an hour from 59,000. Actually, I think it broke 60 all the way down to 51. So it was a big crash before it started coming back up again. It is what it is, right? And then all of a sudden, this is another thing we got last week talking about, Peter Thiel saying, yeah, this is what China's using as a weapon against us, right? This is the financial battleground, is going to be how to destabilize the dollar. They said they were going to do it. And you can see when they wrote this, it poses a threat to the U.S. reserve system, yada, 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 which made complete sense, right? And then all of a sudden, bam, we see, after the flash crash of Bitcoin, and China's like, no, it's an investment alternative, which is exactly the opposite of what they said, 4 years ago. And again, they've been cracking it down, on trading, mining, ICOs, everything, creating new coins. And again, they're even saying that this was a significant change. So the question is Peter right? As it looks like cryptos are starting to put the first nails in, because everybody's kind of cracking down on them, then China comes back and saves them. And what's China's motivation? I mean, China has their own digital currency that's in the works. They've presented guidelines on countries actual like the actual outline, right? Um, to the IMF, but then magically now they're like, yeah, Bitcoin, yeah, it's an investment alternative, sure. So again, there's got to be a motivation behind it. It's such a huge shift. The question is, I wonder what they're getting into. So who knows? Maybe China was sitting on a ton of Bitcoin and liked it going up, and all of a sudden it was like, oh god, our investment's in trouble, so let's manipulate it. But again, I think things like this big shift is what's ultimately going to crush the non-country backed currencies. Because again, anybody right now can manipulate this. Anybody can go out there, and how do you regulate it? Right? It's not a regulated type thing. I believe that Elon manipulated a bit and profited from it. Can China manipulate it and profit from it? Sure, absolutely. Because we don't know who holds it, and it's going to be that kind of function that I think will be the ultimate downfall of it. And as they said, they love the extra control they got in their proposed digital currency. But again, it's still riding, it's still going. But again, it's typically when you see statements, that are suddenly big magical surprise shifts. Put it this way. Now I feel like the United States will be more motivated to outlaw transactions here. If now all of a sudden it's a big thing for China, right? There's a reason why that they're doing it. We don't know what it is yet, but we'll find out. So, all right, let's just jump across. You can see I had gold up. Again, I wanted to talk about it from earlier because we saw kind of a rise up from the European Open up. Today, we're going to start with, let's go with the commodities first, and then we'll jump across. Just because the dollar story, again, it basically went straight up. We hit 6 o'clock in the morning, and then it rolled back down again. So, and again, from where we were, maybe we were at 1775. We're at 71 right now, about $4 cheaper. I wouldn't say there's some gigantic fundamental shift. You guys can see that there was a buying level here from last week on Friday. It's not really much different. It hasn't taken off. I mean, you got to remember, typically when the dollar gets weak, right? When we see massive dollar weakness, you also see gold strength with that one, right? That's how it comes. When we see dollar strength, it goes the other way because again, they kind of they hedge back and forth. You're seeing dollar weakness and you're seeing gold weakness all at the same exact time. Again, it typically means that people are moving into other things, other markets, because they're both being sold off. So not necessarily surprising. So I wouldn't say this is necessarily a fundamental shift. I mean, gold is not going anywhere. Gold's not going to disappear. They're not going to stop using gold. It's one of those things that, people, it's locked into people's portfolios. It's been a hedge for inflation. It's something it's just not going to go away. People are not all of a sudden one day going to be like, you know what, we don't need gold, because it has other functions as well, right? All the gold's gone. No, gold is one of those things. It's a commodity, but it's not a usable commodity like oil that eventually can disappear completely, right? Gold doesn't disappear. We don't use up gold to where it goes into something else. Like it gets bought, it gets purchased, it gets turned into this, it gets turned into that, but it can always be recycled back and it's still gold, right? When we turn oil to gasoline and then we use the gasoline no longer exists, right? It's a finite number of, a finite commodity. Gold is not that way. So, gold's continuing to push down. We'll see. It'll find a bottom in here. Like I said, this week is action. There's a ton. Like, if you look at this week, we have CPI here for inflation, CPI for the pound over here. We have 2 monetary policy statements. We got all the manufacturing in here. So there's a lot this week that could affect the price of gold with inflation. So I would expect no, not even close. It's funny. It's so funny. It's actually Dogecoin I found. I was saying, I originally thought it was Doggy Coin, but it's Dogecoin, is how you say it. But do you realize when it was created, they never put real guidelines on it. It could be mined forever. So Bitcoin actually has a cap. You eventually it gets harder and harder to mine those last few ones, but eventually it stops. There's a finite amount of Bitcoin that is actually out there total. Dogecoin doesn't have a limit, doesn't have a cap. So you can just keep producing it. So what you have gets less and less and less and less and less and less and less. So it's one of those things. You can produce it until it's worth absolutely nothing. And I don't think people realize that. So yeah. Yeah. And someone made a good profit if they bought it below 50. Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things. I mean, when something is new like that, I mean, again, I remember when Bitcoin came out, a person was like, yeah, I put like $200 into Bitcoin when it was like worth nothing. And it was kind of like, all right, what kind of, I mean, you know, at that time, there was like so many different things. There was like, I get what was it like the Iraqi dinar or whatever it was. People were like, oh, we have a war things. They're going to reinflate the currency and all this other stuff. I mean, there was all kinds of investment things going around back when Bitcoin first came out, and the idea was great. And it just, again, it was kind of one of those like niche things that eventually caught on, right? And it's one of those things. It's kind of like it's like we're in like the cancel or the counterculture. It's the embodiment of that is really what it is. But there, I mean, when it came out, it was kind of like, yeah, I put my last $1,000 into it. And it's kind of like, God, I hope this is the scratch off lottery ticket. I mean, I used to have people like, should I get Bitcoin or the Iraqi dinar? Because I can get that really cheap right now, and eventually when it goes back up, it'll be worth like billions. It's like, okay. And those were the discussions we had. So yeah, you can always get in cheap on something like that. It's just, it's always great. Like people don't see how many other things like that have failed, how many other investments or ideas have failed. You just hear about the winner. You don't hear about all the other ones that have lost and lost and lost and lost and lost. So, yeah, I know, right? Exactly. I mean, it's the same. I mean, like you could say the same story. Like, I mean, there's like the stories of the woman that what was it? The Microsoft, like she started there like in the very, very beginning or whatever. She like got paid in stock because they couldn't afford to pay her with real things, but her husband had a job, and and then she's worth like billions, right? Or something like that. I don't remember the exact total. I mean, maybe it was Apple. I don't remember, or Google or something like that. But yeah, the secretary got paid in stock because they didn't have money to pay her. So she's like, I'll just give it to me in stock, And then once the company hit it, she was getting paid in all the stock, and she's like, yeah, my husband supported me. I wanted a job. I got paid in stock, and it worked out great. And then she became like, multi. I think it was like worth like $100 million or $1 billion or something. It's insane, right? So that's where gold is. We're up, 0.19, so nothing crazy on the day. It's already starting to kind of find some buyers down here, and I wouldn't be surprised if it pops back over and kind of ends up in the, maybe like the high 1780s. I think is probably decent. Silver is basically the same thing, a little bit more volatile. We had that level up here at 2620. Yeah, I mean it's decent. It moved twice, right? It's kind of approaching lower. We have that level sitting right in here that we've seen kind of buyers step in, right? You know, I think this one will take a bounce as well, and I would say that this one probably, I think it has the ability to come and float. I think 26 is going to be a big number. It's got a bunch of buyers below, and again, we're coming from here, so we were expecting sells, but there's a sell there. There was another sell here that kicked in, yesterday afternoon, right? We kind of closed at that level, gapped in, and then retouched it. So it was an overnight trade. I would say right now, I think with a lack of headlines, it's going to be hard. Right, it's going to be hard to really make major movements. Interesting enough, it's funny. You look at the year to date; it's down 2% for the year. It's good for a year still, but the 6 months, the 3 months, the 1 month, the 1 week, you can kind of see where this one is going kind of, the trajectory is heading. Remember, I mean, people were calling for that $50 and $100 and stuff like that, and it's not even remotely close. So. I would say, with gold down, it's doing what it's supposed to do. It's about twice as bad as gold is right now. And again, as it starts to rotate, it's funny looking at these two. It's almost like silver is like the 1 minute and gold is like the 30 minute, or like the 5 and the 30, right? Silver seems to adjust a little bit faster and kind of runs farther, and then it's the first one to kind of drop, and it's a little bit more violent of a swing. So I would say, keep this 2620 on your radar. I mean, it's been turned around twice, so it's not the freshest of zones, but both kind of pushes off of it have been pretty decent. Bottom side, again, we had this area here where we kind of came down. This is what we dealt with last week, but I would say the 2420 level. I mean, again, this push off has been a level we've talked about. Again, it was the top, top. Finally broke through, punched through, and then came back down, and now we're testing it. So, I would say, keep this on your radar too. If we're gonna kind of adjust this across, I think 2620 top side and 2560 on the downside are probably two important levels to kind of watch out for. And again, only because, I mean, we could actually lower this a bit lower, probably here to here, right? Probably along those two lines. right? So 25.50, 26.20 on top of bottom, I think are decent. Oil for today. So oil, again, we're just inside of the same level. We had our 3 touches and it didn't really break. It kind of front run here, gapped and kind of went down and tested again. This is a 10 o'clock on a Sunday thing, so not really a big thing. Not really necessarily a level that I would have traded long off of. And it did. It based. It came back a touch, then it went higher again. And again, I think this is kind of a dollar weakness story why we're seeing that rally up. And again, we are seeing prosperity. I mean, there's no real big things of news today. When you click, look at the news releases. Is the pound in trouble? It means it'll probably go higher. You're talking about rebounding, recovery. These are all good things, right? Here's the task force again. It's just purely a dollar story right now, right? Oh, and this maybe too. Multiple rockets hit Iraqi base, wounding 2 soldiers. That may have helped a little bit as well. I didn't even see that down here, but that may have helped. So once that kind of dissipates, we'll see if. And again, even so, I mean, it's 11 hours ago. Yeah, it's probably back in there. It's probably decent. I would say, just watch out for it. I mean, we got the little zone, sitting up here. You can see we got the hiccup, the pullback, the touch, the pickup, and touch. And Jinjin, come here, Jinjin. Come here. Don't cry in bed. I still think this is probably, the best level. This is going to be a minor one. We'll see if we touch it, the 63.70. Yeah, I mean, we'll see what's, we've already kind of gone through the open at this point, and we're already seeing a pullback. So, yeah, if we can get a base here, there may be a drop off of it. If we can see another pattern like this, a test of it, and if I to go higher, then yeah, go short. I would say look for profit taking, probably down here at the 63, probably at 63. That's where this last little piece was. Come here, it's okay. Oh, well, see, you got to stop doing that. No. Yeah, this is why you got to stop hitting buttons. There you go. Did you want Peppa or something else? Peppa? Okay. She runs back to bed. Yeah, she hit stuff, and this time it wasn't YouTube. It was Amazon that got her. And then it's like, eventually she's going to reset my wife's tablet, and my wife's going to be like, "What?" I keep getting the messages like, "Oh, if you want to reformat now, hit yes." And she brings it to me. It's like, "Oh God, don't hit that." But either of these two, I think, are decent for oil. Like I said, it's already 10 o'clock, so we should be kind of seeing this reversal at this point. But look at those two, and again, profit taking in here at the 65. Really, I don't see any like amazing earth-shattering longs though until we get down here to the 61 mark. Really back down in here. So, and again, that's a lot of movement. Okay, but we're going to carry this across and talk about a break of 62.50. Those are kind of what I'm looking for right now. Okay. All right, there. All right, so let's go into the currency world. So Aussie dollar. Last week we kind of just chopped through, and again, once this started to burst through, we had the one touch, and then again it did this, so we really didn't have another entry in there. I would say from last week where the big sell came in, that's what we talked about Friday. This is a zone we didn't mark off. This was from the 15th. There was the touch, and this touch came in last night at like 11 o'clock. So it was a decent place to take a long off of. When I looked at it, we were sitting kind of like over in here, over in here. And I was like, I don't know if it can run that far. Like, it'd be nice if it did. And it did, much later than I was looking at it, unfortunately. I was just dead tired, but nice rally up. I would say, at this point, it's not surprising that we had the retrace. We had all the touches in this level, so you expected that one to break. I actually don't know. I didn't actually mark this one higher. I didn't have this one up. I was trying to see where. Yeah, it's the buyers. I bet you it's right there. Yeah, that's the buyers it grabbed. I'm trying to see where the next clean level is. Probably all the way up here. There's a little level there, but honestly, I love that one. Let's just drop this one here. Save that one for later. Go down a 30-minute. It's a small level. I don't think you would have snagged that one, unfortunately. If you did get short, great. More power to you, but I don't know if that's really what I probably wouldn't have drawn the zone off of that one. It's an all right zone. I would expect a retracement. Profit targets on this one to the downside, though I'd be looking to get out. Probably here around the 77.40 level. Get yourself out around there. Again, it's a decent retracement. I wouldn't say it's don't know that I would go long. I'm sorry. I don't know that I'd go short now. It's only about 30. We don't really have the base, unfortunately, is what we have here. Oops, I just want this one. I think we marked this one off down. Hoping if we had some news, I would be okay with this one as taking that like another hit because again, it was turned around from that level. We dropped to 15. Trying to find a way to get into this one. Let's see. Do we have enough movement? Let's see. Oh, it's right at 3. All right. Yep. So we'll put that one on there and look for this as a short. We'll put that there. So if we get a break of this level, actually, you know what? Let me just continue it across this way. Make it a little cleaner for us. All right, so break is 77.63. Look for a pushback down to 77.40. Not a huge trade. I mean, we're talking about a rather small amount down. I mean, it's about 22 pips. Rather small risk on it. Like I said, it's just playing the parabolic retracement. We maybe even be able to push it just a little bit further later. But that would be our confirmation when we get a break of that level down. Aussie yen, again, it's rallied up, but again, it's dealing with this candle right now, so there's not really a whole lot there. Unfortunately, as you can see, it came up and it turned to the right spot, but did it grab in a remarkable area? I would say no. At this point, I would say look at these two levels, maybe get into we have the warning area, and again, we called for this to retrace all the way back. It made it about 3/4 of the way, and it pushed a little bit lower. Right? I would say this is probably the test of it. Like I said, the body is here, the wick goes right above it, so that was probably the retest. Right now, I would say there is a minor level here as well. If you look here, we have that little sawtooth formation, but it was pushed to the very, very brink. So it's kind of like, could we take the short off of here based off of what we see on the Aussie dollar? Yeah, you could, but is it the best case scenario? Not really. And really, am I interested in getting much into long until we get down to here? Answer is no, not really. Tomorrow night with the New Zealand news late and the retail sales, I think this will be better tomorrow. But right now, I would say minor level here, minor level up here. But again, this one has the ability to get front run because of this candle and this candle. But it is too touchy. So I'm looking for it to push a little bit above. We'll put this here, just so you guys can see it. And then we'll put this down here. Change that to green. Okay. But like I said, it's a potential reversal, but it's more because of the Aussie yen, not so much. I'm sorry, the Aussie dollar, not so much the Aussie yen. So pound dollar, you can see is pushed through. So this one had a level, and it had touched the level before and maintained like a great balance. Again, this was at 1 o'clock in the morning. I guess the 2 o'clock candle did try to spike down, and it missed it actually again. This is one of the ones I was looking for. Rallied up, ended up grabbing levels up here, which is fine. It did what it was supposed to do, and then kind of rolled back down again. So, I mean, really, this one took a 5 o'clock reversal down, that kind of digital currency bit. This one did get the entry. So, I mean, again, there's another trade from last week. We'll pull that. We don't need this one right now. I think this blew through the top already. Yeah, it's through. Because it pushed, I wouldn't be using that. Let's move this one back up again. Probably there. But I'm going to change this to yellow. Because again, this is not necessarily a level we need. This we're going to keep for a Harry Potter trade south. Let's see. There's probably, oops, not that. There's a decent buy. Right there. And again, this is kind of if we get that kind of pullback, and actually I'll shrink it into this range. Actually, let me see if I can shrink it a little bit more. There we go. That's fine. There to there. Okay. Par level, and we're going to take that as a short. Take this, turn this red. Short entry there. So there's our potentials right now for that one. And again, Euro pound being down low, we're in the green, we're looking for longs. There's a last area that's tested at 85.88. This is kind of a Harry Potter, so we do get a little bit of a pullback. We do know we have a small 15-minute zone, and again, small 15-minute zone. at 86.20 to kind of roll back down. I do think that it tries to test this lower. And again, it's been a great pound day. There's going to be some selling in it. I'm hoping that this is not the flip. I'd like to get something else out of it. Euro pound or euro yen. So euro yen it came lower. We were looking for a push down, and it didn't quite make it. It got here. It missed it by what? 69 to 60. So we missed it by 6 pips. Was a level we were looking at. This was one of the knockouts from last week. And again, we've had a touch on this level. It's coming in. Let's just up it back up to an hourly. A little bit easier to bring things across. Okay, so we got a level here at 29.60. And again, have touched that level once, and it was the bottom. And we got another one sitting here. Okay. Top wise, again, knockout from last week. This one. Yeah, that's 1, 2, 3. I don't know that that's going to hold again. We're going to put this across. We're going to keep this here, but I'm going to change this to a yellow. Only because we know that it hit here, right? This was the original, right? This is actually not the original, but again, it was one of the touches. This is a decent push down, but we've touched, and kind of touched and touched again. So, we're keeping it there, but this is not going to be necessarily an area where I'm going to short. If we can get this with like a European Open or something, maybe, but I think it has the ability to kind of re-strengthen as the euro pound turns and flips. So just kind of watch it. But like I said, I mean, we're kind of in no man's land, and you can see that this is what we've dealt with. And this is a 1 hour chart. So, I mean, we're going back to March, and we've still been stuck in the same range of just back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Now, back and forth has been more of hits on the top and the bottom. But I do feel like, again, how many times can the sellers come in here and step in at 30, 130.50? Here. I feel like we're really due for this to break higher. And then we're dealing with some kind of larger time frame based targets. Got to watch those. So euro dollar, again, here's the big pop. This is where we ended last week. And again, 1, 2, 3, and this is where we ended on the 4. That's where we gapped into. Drop down, which was fine. It never actually got lower. We were still waiting for kind of a push, a push down. We had this one set up saying, hey, listen, if we can get up, look for a break of this level. Hasn't happened yet. So again, we'll leave that on the chart. Right now, I'd say, again, this level just got, again, so many touches and then closing the level. So it's pretty much done. You can just remove it from our charts. This one is a decent top. And again, on a 30-minute on this one, that's not a bad candle. And again, we typically like the way that those candles are formed. It's an all right candle. And again, we're seeing some basing right now. I think profit targets on this one really could go. If we have the strength come back in again, probably here, this 119.50 level. There's a little bit in here too, but probably at 119.60 is probably going to be where it is to the downside. And it's a decent runner. I mean, right now we still have, about 60 pips to the downside. Again, we talked about strength, but again, this one, hasn't hit a level yet. So if it comes down, continued European weakness. This one, kind of the same thing. I mean, it's hit some tops and it didn't go as high. So again, it's got to come, if it comes down, again, European weakness to find buyers, most likely down here. And then euro dollar, kind of the same thing, is that as we're starting to reverse from the dollar play in the morning. It's got some sellers, it's got some buyers in right now, but again, big parabolic retracement trade. Let's see. On a 2 hour, yeah. Here is that level. Whoops. So you can see where the reversal is coming in at, right? And again, it's on a 2 hour, but you can find it on a 1 hour or even on a 4 hour. So there's euro. Pound yen, obviously going up. We knew we had an area here. We talked about it earlier. This 50.89 was a level we were looking for. Big push up, and all we were doing was looking for really the reversal. And again, it's pushed up and went right past. And again, this is why sometimes if you can grab those call spreads, they're not necessarily bad. This one got sucked up a little bit higher. It got sucked up into here is what it did, right? So it's kind of hard. There was a little hiccup here, and I was like, oh, that could be the reversal. It wasn't. It ended up being this one, right? So we'll mark that off as our high peak for the day. Again, keep that there. This was one of the knockouts from last week. You guys can see we blew through bottom. Drop up to a 30. Is there a decent bottom? No, there's not a decent bottom. So we're just going to erase that for right now. We do have this level right here, though, that I want to kind of keep an eye on. I meant to update these all yesterday, but I was just so wrapped into lacrosse. So we won 2 games again this weekend. Next weekend, probably not so much. But it's also my kid's birthday today, so I was like running around literally the whole weekend. 90 to the downside. Let me see something here. Do we have none? They have their unemployment rate tomorrow. So that's interesting. Not that their claim account and their unemployment rate are like, they're not considered big currency movers, but they can control the pound a bit. We'll have to see what it does today. They are expected to be good, and again, people are going to be looking to take profit from that one a bit. But I think we need to look at the end of the day and kind of see where there is. I don't know that we'll get a full reversal, and that's kind of a lot of movement up and then a lot of movement back with really lack of any type of like really true catalyst. I mean, the news is good, but I wouldn't say it's a true catalyst. It's a commission. It's not like they've put the digital format in. I want to say stay bearish this one today. Ideally, I'd really like to get down here. I feel like I want to get. I would like to get long before the news, but I'd want to see where it is. So later in the day, after market close or tonight before you go to bed, check this one out. See if we've kind of pulled back and if we're approaching any type of levels. I feel like if that claim account or even the unemployment rate goes down, it's expected to hold at 5, but if it goes down, like many other countries are doing right now, say it drops to a 4.9. That could be a pretty nice bounce higher. And again, I'd like it to get down in the green zone. I just don't know if it'll be able to get there or not. Yeah, there's those 2 little hiccups in the middle. I'm not sure if I would take those or not. I'd have to see what time and what it does for the rest of the day. If it just kind of peters slowly, and then stabilizes, yeah, that could be a spot too to watch out for. But I think this one is definitely gives us some opportunity with this tomorrow morning, right? So again, this could be an overnight trade setup. Pound dollar. Same thing. Here was the level we talked about with Nadex. We came up and stabilized it. It's having some problems. And again, we mentioned the knockout. I think the knockout was just higher. Let me see. Let's see. Knockout, Forex, pound dollar. No, it was 89. So yeah, it was a little bit higher. We're also looking for a call spread in this area. And I think there was a call spread there. No, I don't need help with that. Thank you. Let's see. Pound dollar. Where was it? Yeah, there was a 65. Yep. So here is the, what is it? 139.65. So right there, right? Make that one black. That was the knockout bracket. I'm sorry, the call spread for the day that we mentioned in the Nadex presentation as one of the potentials. The knockout was a bit higher, and again, you'd be profitable a bit on this one, depending on when you got in, up 25 pips or something. But like I said, I think it's due for reversal. It's not quite up as high as we thought, but kind of the same thing. I don't know that we'll get a full retracement back again, but I would kind of like to get long this position before the news release tomorrow, because I do think it could be a surprise miss with a lower unemployment or lower unemployment rate. It's just really how much of a pullback we get in the overnight for this one. Now, dollar CAD is kind of exploding back again. And I think this is mixed. Again, this is a lot of the, oh my God, it got beat up, but now it's kind of chopping back and forth. We had a level down here. We talked about the level last week. Look for this price to kind of rally and push back down again. And it did. It touched here. It based the 124.78. So again, it's a level that we've mentioned for a while. And again, you had your base, you had your runaway, it grabbed some, it pulled back, so there was another entry in, and it's been a decent mover in, about 37 pips since about the open. About 9:30, 8:30, 9 o'clock is really when this one kicked in. So this is one that you could have definitely gotten into, and you'd be already out for the morning. So I mean, there's not much else you can do right now. I would say we are at a level though where we should see, maybe some selling come in, right? It's hit here once and been turned away, but it did really push it to the brink. We got a little level, and it is in the middle, so it's not really the ideal situation. If we just continue to blow up through though, I would say watch kind of this level here, right? It was a wick over wick on the 30. It's actually on the hourly, but you'll see the little base here and nice push down. It halted this progress, came back up, grabbed it again, and then slammed it again. So I think that if we continue to push through, the 125.56 is a decent level to short. There's one kind of coming in right now, and we are right at that 1030 reversal. I was hoping, like I said, the dollar week all morning and then starting to rally back right now with the U.S. trader coming along, I think is a lot more profit taking. It's at a reversal time, but I just, green area, I'd like to get long this position. And again, this one has really, really been pushed all the way to the brink, right? It doesn't mean it can't turn. It is the reversal time, but I was hoping that the reversal just came in early today. Stop. Hey, stop it. Yeah, the Great Dane has gotten into this. I'm going to scratch the floor to make sure there's no snakes in my house type thing. But she, I don't know if it's like one of her nails or something, but she got to run in the carpet. Like, my wife is not happy. She can go sleep in the bed, but she'd rather sleep on the floor here. What are you doing? Why are you being weird? You're being weird. Lay down. Lay down. No. Sit. Sit. Lay down. Yeah, when a Great Dane decides that, she's going to make something her home, it's pretty destructive. So, yeah, so again, there's a position here. Actually, let me check. I know I'm not really normally a big fan of the dollar CAD with Nadex. I just think the spreads are just way too jacked up. Let me see if there's something in here. I don't know. Maybe it's worth something small. 25.21. Nah. There's a 25. There's a 25.58. 25.58. There's a knockout sitting right there. Yeah. 26. Nah, the knockout I think is too far away. Man, they had that one completely jacked up. Let me see. There's a dollar CAD weekly. 25.08. I got a lot of premium jacked in that one. I don't know. It's all right for a reversal. It's not a very big level. I mean, it's definitely having a stall now. It's only 8 pips. There's not really many Nadex contracts on this one. The problem is if you take this in Nadex and try to protect ourselves against any type of upside movement to take something small, the strike width they're just so big on this one, so it's not really a great setup over there. So, it's possible, but again, it's going against the grain a bit in the bottom third with the green. We're looking to go long. It has pushed the original kind of drop base drop to the little, the literal breaking point. It did go away pretty nice. The only thing going for it is a reversal time. It has had a big push up this morning. And again, can we see that fundamental shift with the dollar index is really kind of where we're boiling back down to. So, to each his own on this one. If you haven't made your money, maybe you need it. If not, there's probably better opportunity out there. Dollar Swiss coming off a level we talked about. We talked about 91, 46? Okay. We based into it, very, very fast position. And again, this one is very, very easy to see. I'll pull this back because we knew we had a level. Looking for this one to kind of halt its momentum. Again, here's the trade. We touched it. We based, right? We started to pull away, and then we had that failure to go higher. Enter your trade, and you're already at a 3-1. So, this is one of those refining trades to get long. It's not a bad movement, right? I mean, you're talking about 25 pips in like an hour and a half on a dollar Swiss after a huge collapse. Not bad. Profit targets on this one need to be taken up here, probably just a little bit before, but 91.72. I'm sorry, 91.97 is where you need to be looking for it on this one. You can see there's a little bit of a hiccup here, right around 91.70. But again, level from last week, we knew we were looking for it. Look for it to stabilize. There's your stabilization at 7 o'clock. Came up, pulled, did not break it and go lower. And then when it came over and broke back out of the top, there was your long entry to go back up again. So, just a parabolic move. I would say it's a little bit too late to get into now. Dollar yen did a similar position, right? 30-minute. Now, this is middle of the curve, so it's not. The dollar Swiss had the benefit of being here just entering the bottom third. And again, there was a level drawn. We didn't really have anything on this one, but it had the same pattern. We'll go see if there was. Like I said, I don't follow the Swiss as close. Same thing, right? Drop, we stabilized at 6. We pulled up, pulled away, came back down, did not go higher. And then boom, it started to push away. And there's not as much there. And again, dollar yen is a little bit not as clean, right? Let's go up to a 4 hour. I want to see if we had much in here. Yeah, it's a little bit in here. I would say there's a level here on the 4 hour we should watch out for. And there's something. Let's see if we can dial this in a bit. Let's go to a 2. Let's go to 1 hour. Let's go all the way down. No, it's just a wick over wick. It's got this wick over wick right here. Right there. And that's what we've touched. Let's see. That's what I ran to. So, yeah, you could have caught this one. I didn't see this one. I didn't dial it in enough. So, yeah, you could have got it. Although, I would have been a little bit more concerned about this one because of the yen factor. But again, it did the same pop, same base, same push. And again, you're seeing a 10 o'clock reversal is what we're seeing now in this one. So kind of what we warned about in the other one. This is what you're seeing here. All right. As far as the indices go, again, I'm a little bit delayed on data. Again, there was a long from last week. Let's pull these off now. There's your break. We did not make the 4,200. We got close. What did we get? That 42. I saw somewhere else it was a little bit higher. I was like, just go, 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 go. Like, it was close. It's like, if it would just burst, just go. Right now, it's kind of stuck. Like I said, there's no real major news today. Drop this down to a 15-minute. There we go. Let's see. Let's say we got this level here. We got to kind of keep track of. I mean, really, we could have marked this zone, but I mean, I wouldn't say that this zone is a holding zone, right? Nice drop. I liked it here, but again, all in here. That's fine, but it's eating up so many orders. I mean, how many touches are you going to count through here, right? Do you count this as 1? Do you count this as 2? And again, we touched again and pushed to the brink. It's not really a holding zone. Question is, do we take a Harry Potter on the yes? The problem is this one is hard because, again, if we take this black line, just move it across, right? Should be right there. We had a little bit of a hiccup. So could that break? Could that be where we go and pull? Yeah. I mean, we could definitely have something along those lines. Right. A touch here, a touch back up again and a push down. Right. Along those lines. I would say this one has a potential for 41.40 today. If we continue to drive down, obviously major drop, there's going to be profit taking. We are at a reversal time. Is this the best spot to go long? That's kind of hard. I would have a hard time stepping in. It doesn't mean that it can't turn. The reason why I don't personally like it as much is because, again, we typically want fast touches in and out that shows there's a lot of buyers there. It spent a lot of time grinding through these people and then touched, through that group, and then came and touched and literally drove us to the very, very brink. So in reality, this zone is kind of like working with like this much left again, right? Can it hold? Sure, it absolutely could, right? But is it like the highest probability of holds? And the answer is, I don't know. I would say it's more than likely to drop down, probably grab the levels down here at this level of basing around 41.50, pull back up again, and then again, if we are unable to break back through, look for a drop. When we do get a stabilization, though, if we do come down and start to stabilize back in again, if it doesn't do a quick touch and roll, if we stabilize, this does have the ability to retrace. I think with everything we see going on, once kind of the funk is out on Monday, I do think that this has the ability to go back up again, and any type of longs. And again, I do think we have the potential for longs somewhere between the 41.50 and the 41.40 level. Stop, Millie. Stop. She just pulled it. She got another run on the carpet. I'm in so much trouble. I do think we shoot for profit targets back up here around 41.70. All right. So I'm kind of looking for that once we have the stabilization in. I do think that's a decent target, but I wouldn't mess with it too much higher. Get some profit because, again, we've seen sellers step in twice. NQ. Hey, stop. NQ obviously had an enormous drop, right? This one's moving. And again, not surprising. I mean, it came up to a level and grabbed it. Here was that 15 from last week. Let's see. 30-minute right now. You can see what it's got. It's got to get through some levels here. I would say we have a little bit of a level coming up here. It's got to go a little bit further. Hmm. Let's see. We got a touch here. Let's see. And again, you could argue that it was this whole level, but I'm just going to put it down to here because I think that's what we push into. So right now, again, this is kind of the intraday channel we're dealing with. I wouldn't say that this is the high time frame thing, but again, we could use this and actually use this top and this bottom. I guess we'll use this bottom, but it's kind of where we are as far as changing our bias around. Again, this is the 30-minute, guys. This is not the normal curve. This is not the high time frame. This is one that we do go to the lower time frames to look at on the 15-minute. I would look for this one to kind of come down and stabilize. Does it have the ability to break this? Yeah, sure, it could. I think that, if we get the right kind of confirmation, excuse me, I think this one can pull right back into that range, right? And again, I think it could come lower. I think we could probably test down in this level here. I'd like to say there, and that's a 3.8. 4 is right there kind of slicing through. So I'd say probably almost that, right? Again, what this would look like is a kind of a rebuy back purchase there. And this would be a short coming from this level. And again, it may tag this level and bounce way back up again, which is totally fine. We're really looking more for areas to kind of sell and buy. But I do think that those are probably decent. And then again, if we can get as low as, I don't think we can get that low today. Maybe 13,780. That would be a level based off of its reaction here that I'd be willing to, potentially step in for a long, right? Man, if it goes all the way down, that's a pretty crappy day. So I would say look for a retrace. Maybe tomorrow morning. Maybe if it comes down and stabilizes and pushes low, maybe that's for a tomorrow morning type thing. So we'll see. YM. So, she hit a button again. I can hear. Oh, she's not crying. She's singing. Do we have a good top in this one? Not really. So we have this level right here, basing, right? Touch, 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 touch. There's an untested level. Here's another level that's decent. Take this off. There was a buy. I'm gonna adjust this one over. This is a prior level. I'm trying to get our potential reversals here. I don't need this anymore. Let's throw some things in here. I'll leave those right now, but I don't need them. All right, so the problem with this one is I don't really have a clean candle up top. Even down on the 15-minute, I don't really have one. I would say... I don't like this one for Harry Potter either because of this. Okay, again, this pattern right here, the wick, the higher wick, the higher wick, all kind of important. You know, I don't like this one as much. If this was not here, if this was a straight up candle, yeah, I'd be all over the Harry Potter. Just go for the collapse, right? The continuation. But with the buyers down here, I think this one's going to have some issues getting through it. Maybe stabilizing basis through there. If it turns off of this now, again, there's your 10 o'clock time frame. So, was it possible? Sure. It's been a decent runner up right now. Probably the best of the bounces that we've seen so far. I would say we got to look for this one coming back up. Again, profit target's probably here. But again, this is kind of that dealing with that gap level, right? I would say probably more of a touch in that level, right? I think this one's done for the day. I don't think we're going to be able to get much more out of this one. So when I also say, when I'm telling you guys, I don't necessarily like the top. See this right here? So because all three of these wicks are basically in the same level, I'm not considering this as a place to short, right? It's not a good level for shorting. It's a mirror top, so I don't think there's much to hold this one. So it's really kind of, if we get a break here, I mean, I would look for this to head up, right? Probably up to there, the 3420, 34200. It's just, where do we get a buy in on this one? Problem is, this has just literally been straight up, so I don't really have a top to draw on this one. Yeah, we don't. There's not much in this one, unfortunately. Yeah, if you were unable to get the reversal, this one I'm afraid we're not going to get much more. So if we do get a break though here, oops, right stable. I was like, whoa, what did I just do? 34. What is it? 34,063. I think if we can get any stabilization here, take this one long. Look for this one to rally back up if we get the push today. If not, look for it tomorrow. I think we could get that on either level. Again, I don't know if this comes back down again, I don't know that I would use this level. This one has had quite a number of touches, right? You could arguably say there's a lot in here, right? We could say that this is technically one, right? I mean, this is arguably it's one of these two, but even so, there's another one there. We're really starting to push this level to the downside, so we really need to stabilize and continue to push higher. Break at 34,063. I think this one goes up to 34,200. All right, not much more. All right, so let's go ahead and do the drawing. That's the last of them. Like I said, we did the order a little bit differently with oil, gold, and silver first today. Let's see, what do we got moving? This one is, again, still coming up. Pound yen is moving a bit. Dollar CAD is kind of pulled back. We're at 4. Again, pound strength, pound strength, pound strength. And again, the dollar looks like it's starting to kind of maintain and it's starting to hold now. So, or at least start to come back a bit, right? In the last 60 minutes, you can see the dollar Swiss is up. So there's been some dollar strength. Let's see, have we gotten any new headlines? Nah, just unemployment. Just unemployment so far and nothing else headline-wise. So, yeah, we'll see. I wouldn't be surprised, too, if there's some type of a call. Like I said, now that this is a direct reversal, I wouldn't be surprised if there's some more news about that later. But right now, markets are pretty flat for Monday as far as news goes. We got nothing else in here. Breaks above 120 as a dollar, loses intensity. Yeah, we got it. And that's an hour and a half ago. Daily FX is great. They're like super timely with these strategies. So, all right, let's go across. Let's go ahead and do the drawing. It's 10:30 on a Monday. I'm out of coffee. I need to go check on the girl, and the dog is now digging in the boys' room. I'm not sure what she's. I feel like she's very upset that there's like snakes or something in the house. You guys do know what I'm talking about, right? The reason a dog digs and then goes around in a circle is like one of those like genetic things, that it was a way to make sure that they're not going to sleep on a snake or something. Even a Chick-fil-A drive-thru is flat. No. Wealth Builder, Chick-fil-A drive-thrus are never flat. No, it's you never heard that before, Ernest? A snake? Yeah, the reason why dogs like go in circle, like they dig and like they'll dig in an area and then spin in a circle, is like it's like bred into them. Not bred into them, but it's like just natural. I forget what it's called. I'm like, it's Monday morning and I only had 1 cup of coffee. Not hereditary because it's like not passed down, but it is. It's one of those things. God, it's driving me crazy. But yeah, it's to make sure that they're not like laying down and sleeping on a snake, is where they said that it's just like, because dogs do it, wolves do it, I think foxes do it as well. But I know definitely like wolves and things like that. They all do it. Instinct. Yeah, it's instincts. Yeah, thank you, Wealth Builder. Appreciate it. Yeah, it's instinctual. Yeah. So like they're never trained, they're never taught, but they just always do it. Yeah, hereditary was the wrong word, even though it is passed down. Yeah, it's instinct. A Chick-fil-A reversal time is 11 a.m. Ernest, I got to tell you, we got one here, and their location, I mean, arguably they do have a really, really good location, but it's never empty. The line is literally wrapped around the place 24/7. Like, I don't know who the franchise, I mean, unless the franchise person is paying like $1 million a month, whoever owns this one is making bank. I mean, it's like, and their service is horrible. Like, I've had to pick things up, and like it took like 30 minutes, and it's like, hey, I put the order in. I said I was going to pick it up at this time, and then I waited 30 minutes inside. Like I could have gone through the drive-through and got it faster than like. Why did I do this app? But it's just I think it's location. I scare of two kinds of snakes, live or dead ones. Yeah, exactly, Ernest. Yeah, I'm not a big snake. I mean, I don't know. I feel like I don't know. I feel like like hairy spiders, like tarantulas, are scarier. But my sister went now that she lives in Austin. She's like, tarantulas are not a big deal. They're like a slow-moving tennis ball. Like she's like, you see them in the yard all the time. I'm like, you do what? She's like, yeah, it's just this hairy mass that like slowly moves across the yard. It's not big. But like East Coasters, we don't have tarantulas. We're like, oh my God, the thing's how big? It's the size of a softball? Heck no, burn the house down. Right? One of those spiders right now. Yeah, exactly. All right, guys, let's get into the drawing. I'm going to close it down. We got 10 people in. It is Monday. Let's see who's got it. We got our usual suspects in here. Winner of today's drawing is Silent. Man, I'm telling you, Silent is like a regular, like gets in there towards the end. He's got like a system going here. So let's mark this as complete. Give Silent his 25. Where is Silent? There he is right there. Look at that. Broke the 500 mark, Silent. Congratulations. Broke the 500. That's pretty good. That's pretty cool. Ernest is having nightmares now. Yeah, I'm telling you, Silent comes in. He's regular. He puts it in there. He puts his one ticket in, and he wins on a. I would say like once every 2 weeks. He's winning it. And again, subscribers obviously get more points faster. You guys get points twice as fast. It's like 2 for every one that everybody else does. You don't win the contest. There's no benefits contest wise, but you do accumulate points twice as much. But for people that are not, obviously it's a little bit harder to get up there and get points. So again, whenever you break the 500 mark, that's always a cool thing. But again, Silent, you definitely been helped out by a few of these the contest giveaways, so that's pretty cool. Yeah, and I actually do have I'm working on it now. Todd wanted me to put together. So in 2 weeks, we have that kind of gold and oil trading. It's kind of a modified parabolic retracement webinar, but specifically around gold and oil trading because they really want to focus on gold and oil. But I have a couple of resources and things like that you guys are going to be able to buy, not necessarily mini classes, but kind of like ebooks and things like that. That he's like, oh, you should try to put this together. You should try to put this together. You should try to put this together. And then we're talking about, I was like, all right, maybe you shouldn't give that away for free. Maybe you should save that for something else. I'm going to add those and probably start building up the store a bit more over here. Now that again with the girl doing her thing, pretty soon she's going to be able to go without me. I'm going to finally have a little bit of free time. I can't believe I'm saying this, but I'm actually going to have some free time. I can actually start working on things again. So it'll be cool to get those back out. All right. Oh, you guys can't see it. Oh, hold on. Let me put it into here. There. You guys can see it. You ain't nothing, but I never hate. All right. So with that said, guys, I'm out of here. Like I said, I'm still waiting to see this one. I want to see what comes of this, if we're going to hear anything officially about it. But it's funny. Turkey bans it, right? Peter Thiel says, hey, Bitcoin is being used as a financial weapon against the United States. Turkey bans it. Japan starts putting, is doing some stuff. India is going to ban it outright. Then all of a sudden the U.S. is going to, hey, listen, we're going to start cracking down on it. It drops 14% in an hour, goes all the way to 51,000. And then China magically comes to the rescue. And it's like, I don't think this story is over. So I'm waiting for the next chapter of this one. So if you guys see it, make sure you post it in Discord because I can't wait to read the next chapter of how to manipulate the market 101. All right. You guys take care. I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Remember, tomorrow is the later session for Nadex. And again, catch us in the morning. Take care.